Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. Dan Quinn, the head coach of the Commanders, seems to be experiencing an extremely tense moment behind the scenes, and recent rumors suggest that this tension could be about to explode. Sources close to the locker room indicate that after what was described as a chaotic practice, Quinn completely lost his patience, directing his frustration clearly and forcefully toward wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Insiders describe the atmosphere as one of absolute mutual misunderstanding, with Quinn apparently questioning the player's dedication and commitment in situations he feels do not meet the team's expectations. The coach, known for his intense temperament and for demanding maximum discipline, appears to have reached a breaking point that could drastically alter the internal environment of the Commanders. The situation reportedly unfolded in a way that teammates, assistant coaches, and staff considered alarming, as Quinn's reaction was not just a passing remark, but a firm declaration that McLaurin will not play with me anymore, immediately sparking speculation about a potential benching, trade, or even more serious conflicts within the roster, which, according to sources, staff members are trying unsuccessfully to mediate. The potential consequences of this clash have everyone watching nervously, as the repercussions could reshape both locker room dynamics and the team's offensive strategy moving forward. The episode that shook the Commanders' locker room does not seem to be an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of a growing frustration that involves game strategies, team performance, and unmet expectations. The tension between coach and player, according to rumors, had been building for weeks, with increasingly heated practices, verbal confrontations, and glances of disapproval signaling a deep strain in their professional relationship. Terry McLaurin, at the center of this drama, is reportedly coping with pressure not only from the coach, but also from the media, fans, and teammates, which could affect his on-field performance. The disagreement supposedly started with Quinn making comments about effort and commitment, escalating to a point where the coach felt compelled to make his dissatisfaction public. Sports insiders argue that internal conflicts like this can directly affect team morale, cohesion, and performance consistency. Moreover, analysts note that Quinn's declaration that McLaurin will not play with me anymore raises questions about the coach's ability to manage star players while maintaining the emotional balance needed during high-pressure situations, potentially influencing both locker room stability and the perception of leadership across the league. Sources close to the team emphasize that the incident during the Commanders' practice was not just a verbal outburst, but a demonstration of accumulated frustration that many consider a serious warning for the club's management. According to reports, the coach allegedly expressed emphatically that he no longer intends to rely on McLaurin in critical situations, creating a scenario where trust between the two seems irreparably broken. Sports behavior experts suggest that in situations like this, the risk of long-term ruptures is high, as effective communication between a coach and a key player is essential for team performance. McLaurin, according to insiders, reportedly responded with restraint at the moment, trying to remain professional, but Quinn's statement made it clear that the relationship had entered a delicate territory with potential repercussions both on and off the field. Fans and analysts are already speculating about the impact of this tension, considering scenarios ranging from negotiations to drastic roster changes, while the atmosphere within the team remains filled with uncertainty, increasing pressure on everyone involved and fueling theories about how the situation will be handled as the season progresses. Dan Quinn's history with high-pressure situations suggests that he is no stranger to making decisive moves, but the incident involving McLaurin is seen by experts as a test of emotional management that could define the team's trajectory. Rumors indicate that Quinn has remained firm in his decision, emphasizing to assistants and staff that McLaurin will no longer have a role in key offensive positions under his leadership. Meanwhile, sources claim that the locker room atmosphere is tense and cautious, with other players closely observing every move, aware that any public or internal reaction could be interpreted as alignment with or opposition to the coach. The implications of this conflict are amplified by the fact that McLaurin is a high-profile player whose absence or benching could trigger a series of tactical and strategic adjustments that directly affect the team's offensive performance. Discussions are already underway regarding potential replacements, scheme adaptations, and even pressure on management to intervene and control the situation, all while the season continues and expectations remain high. As rumors spread, sports commentators emphasize that the tension between Quinn and McLaurin fits a classic pattern of conflict between a coach and a star player, but with particular nuances that heighten the drama. The declaration that McLaurin will not play with me anymore is seen as a definitive rupture, historically known to produce unpredictable outcomes for both the player and the coach. Theories have emerged about potential strategies to resolve the conflict, ranging from mediated conversations by veteran players to negotiations with management regarding contractual changes or possible trades in the future. In this context, every subsequent practice becomes a focal point, as every gesture, comment, or decision could be interpreted as reinforcing or challenging Quinn's authority, intensifying pressure and turning the locker room into a psychological battlefield where every word and action carries significant weight for the future of the coach-player relationship, ultimately affecting the stability and performance of the Commanders as a whole. Sports management experts warn that situations like this, once made public, have ripple effects beyond the direct relationship between the parties involved. Club image, sponsor confidence, and fan engagement all come into play, as any sign of internal instability can negatively impact the perception of the team. In the Commanders' case, the incident with McLaurin quickly became headline news in sports media, generating speculation about potential scenarios, contractual consequences, and impacts on offensive strategy. External pressure combined with internal tension creates a volatile environment where poorly communicated decisions could worsen the conflict. Now, all eyes are on how Quinn and McLaurin will navigate the next steps, whether reconciliation is possible or if the rupture will be permanent, and how this will influence not only on-field performance, but also the public narrative surrounding the team, fueling rumors, theories, and debates that promise to keep the situation in the spotlight for a considerable time. As the tension continues to simmer within the Commanders' locker room, speculation about the long-term impact of Quinn's declaration regarding McLaurin is intensifying. Insiders suggest that the fallout could extend far beyond the player-coach dynamic, potentially affecting the team's preparation, game planning, and overall morale. The uncertainty surrounding McLaurin's status creates an environment where players may feel compelled to take sides, either openly or subtly, influencing how the roster functions collectively. Analysts point out that in high-stakes professional football, trust and communication are paramount, and when a star player is publicly at odds with the head coach, it can disrupt not only offensive execution, but also defensive cohesion and special teams alignment. Rumors indicate that Quinn's stance is unwavering, leaving management and assistants in a difficult position as they attempt to mediate while preserving authority. Some insiders believe that if the situation remains unresolved, it could lead to difficult decisions, including potential trade talks or benching scenarios, all of which are being closely monitored by rival teams eager to capitalize on any internal instability. This type of conflict, while dramatic, is not uncommon in elite sports. Yet its public exposure amplifies every misstep, keeping fans, analysts, and media outlets intensely focused on the Commanders' internal dynamics. Sources report that the impact of Quinn's outburst on McLaurin is complex, as the player is reportedly trying to maintain professionalism while dealing with immense pressure from multiple fronts. Friends and associates of McLaurin suggest he is weighing his options carefully, aware that any reaction could influence his standing with the team or his career trajectory. While some believe he may eventually attempt reconciliation, others speculate that the rift could widen, prompting the Commanders to explore alternate solutions in the roster. The intensity of Quinn's statement, which explicitly indicated that McLaurin will not play with me anymore, has created a psychological strain on the locker room, as players and staff alike attempt to navigate the uncertainty. Coaches and analysts emphasize that managing elite athletes requires delicate balance, particularly when performance expectations clash with interpersonal dynamics. Observers of the league have noted that public disputes like this can have long-term effects on player performance, team cohesion, and even fan engagement as supporters react to both sides of the conflict. Within this context, the Commanders face a critical period where decisions made in the coming weeks could define not only the season, but also the reputations and legacies of both Quinn and McLaurin. The ripple effect of this conflict has already reached media coverage and social discourse, fueling endless speculation about the Commanders' future and potential solutions to the crisis. Rumors circulating among insiders suggest that Quinn's decision may be strategic, a calculated move designed to assert control over the team while signaling a zero-tolerance approach to perceived underperformance. Meanwhile, McLaurin's camp reportedly remains in constant communication with league insiders and agents, exploring options that could preserve his career trajectory while navigating the fallout. Analysts note that these dynamics introduce a complex web of strategic considerations, with the optics of reconciliation, trade, or benching carry as much weight as the tactical implications on the field. The intensity of the situation is compounded by the fact that every public statement, social media post, or comment by teammates can be dissected for hidden meaning, contributing to a narrative that continues to evolve in real time. As a result, the Commanders' locker room has become a focal point of intrigue, a space where psychology, strategy, and high-stakes decision-making intersect, leaving observers to speculate endlessly about the eventual resolution. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Experts point out that Quinn's approach, while controversial, reflects a broader pattern in professional sports where assertive leadership sometimes clashes with star player autonomy. This tension is particularly notable in a league where individual talent is often as crucial as team cohesion, and managing these dynamics requires both emotional intelligence and strategic foresight. The public nature of Quinn's statement about McLaurin adds a layer of complexity, as it forces both the team and the player to navigate not only internal consequences, but also external scrutiny. Sources close to the organization suggest that internal meetings have become frequent and tense, as coaches, management, and veteran players attempt to assess the best path forward while avoiding further escalation. Meanwhile, the rumor mill continues to churn, speculating about potential trades, contract renegotiations, or even shifts in team strategy that could mitigate the impact of the conflict. Fans and analysts alike remain captivated, recognizing that the outcome of this situation could redefine the Commanders' season and influence league-wide perceptions of both Quinn as a leader and McLaurin as a player. Within the broader context of the NFL, the Quinn-McLaurin tension highlights a recurring theme of star player management, leadership accountability, and the high stakes of professional sports environments. Rumors suggest that rival teams are closely monitoring the situation, ready to exploit any vulnerability that arises from the Commanders' internal strife. The implications extend beyond the immediate conflict, as coaching decisions, roster management, and team morale could all be influenced by how this scenario unfolds. Analysts speculate that Quinn's determination to make a decisive statement may be a double-edged sword, potentially reinforcing authority while risking alienation of key players. Similarly, McLaurin's response strategy, whether conciliatory or assertive, could shape perceptions of his value, resilience, and leadership within the league. The combination of internal tension, media scrutiny, and fan speculation creates a charged environment where every interaction is magnified and every decision carries long-term consequences. As the story develops, the Commanders' approach will likely serve as a case study in conflict resolution, leadership under pressure, and a delicate balance of managing both talent and team dynamics in one of the most high-profile sports leagues in the world. Finally, the uncertainty surrounding Quinn and McLaurin's relationship continues to dominate conversations among fans, analysts, and insiders, all trying to predict the outcome of a scenario that remains fluid and unpredictable. The rumor mill has fueled speculation about everything from potential trades to adjustments in coaching strategy, leaving the Commanders under intense scrutiny. Observers note that in professional football, managing egos and expectations is as critical as play calling, and a conflict of this magnitude has the potential to disrupt team cohesion at multiple levels. Meanwhile, McLaurin's professional reputation and career trajectory are being closely watched, as any decision or response could have ripple effects beyond the team itself. Within the locker room, the tension reportedly affects not only the individuals involved, but also the broader team culture, influencing interactions, preparation, and morale. As insiders continue to share details and analysts dissect every development, the Quinn McLaurin saga remains one of the most compelling stories in the league, illustrating the high-stakes drama that exists behind the scenes of professional football, where leadership, talent, and temperament collide in unpredictable and captivating ways. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.